Welcome again to my channel, guys. Thank you. My name is Kalambai. I'm a real estate owner and engineer. And if you have not subscribed, kindly, I'd like you to click on that like button and kindly subscribe and share this video, as we want everybody to grow prosperously, knowing what kind of businesses or how they can enter into business and become successful business owners. Well, today I want to talk to you about what are the tips that we can learn from the Jewish community. What makes the Jewish community very successful? This is not actually an anti-Semitism video, but this is really for educational purpose so that we can learn from the Jewish community. As we know, the Jewish community is a very, very prosperous community, and let's say a prosperous religion community. Mostly, why is it that? Why is it that this community can really stand out from among many other communities that we know? First of all, is actually religion. Judaism is a very focal point in their society. They really stand with Judaism. They stay with it. They hold on to it. Their God, their history. They stick to it. You will never take a Jewish out of that, because they stick to it. They know that the Torah is true, and that really hold them together as a community. Judaism. And what does Judaism do? They have the Torah, which really they teach the children, and they teach their children's children. There is a great sense of education, which brings up that it's the greatest, I can say it's the group that is really mostly educated. And they're teaching the children about the Torah from generation to generation and to generation. And you can see even their language, that actually it has been there for thousands of years. And they are going with it from generation to generation to generation. But when it comes to most of our languages, we can see as Africans, maybe those languages, actually, we do not even care about teaching them to our children. And what do we see? The language that we had is disappearing. But for the Jews, they keep their languages. They keep hold on to their languages. They teach their languages to their children. They teach the values that they have to their children. All those values from the Torah, they teach them to their children. So we can see that they really value education. And a Jew, they like to stay in the community. That's the second point. They really love staying in the community. Again, if you have not subscribed, please kindly subscribe. We as Africans, we flee from our society many times. We do not want to stay in our community. But the Jews, they really, when they come to a new place, they're looking for Jews, fellows, and where they can stay in that community. And sometimes they stay in an enclosed society. I can see, for example, in Belgium, when I was there, they had a Jewish community. It's an enclosed community. They have their doctors, they have their hospital, they have their banks, they have their schools, they have their lawyers. So everything, their shops, everything is within the community, which really helps them to hold the money within their community. And they create every service that they need in their community. So you see, the Jews will do everything he can to really hold the money going in their community. So the Jews make sure that their money does not go in outside of their community. So the money stays within the community. Why? Because they stick together. They help one another into business. And they have that education, which really is a bedrock of their foundation. They have the education from what? From Torah. And what happened? They're the people who opened the first bank. Really, the banks that we see, it's just a copycat of what the Jews did. Because of their education, it leads them to be much more creative. So they create a bank whereby they could actually loan money or borrow money to others with interest. But within their community, they borrow money without interest. So you see, really interest. And now everybody has taken up. And now it's become even okay with interest even in Israel. But before it was without interest for their community. Now, you know, they have big banks. They have big money. Why? Because they really look and are thirsting for education, which most of us, we do not do. Our financial literacy, as we can say, the African community is very low. Yeah, it's very low. It's a sad thing to say, but I hope this can be an encouragement for somebody, for the community out there to learn. I've been in communities in Africa whereby they cannot read, they cannot, all they know is actually the verbal language, and that's all. I'm not saying that, but our literacy rate is very low. That's one thing. And as I say, it's really education, they set it as a bedrock. And look, they stay with one another. And they stand with one another. They cannot really Jews stay together. No matter where they are, no matter what they do, they stand together. They stick together. They buy from one another. They really market the service of one another, which we should be doing as well, sticking with one another. We can see in the African community, we live in some part of the world, you see Africans living together. Not because they've chosen so, but because the life in that country has made it hard for them. You know, they are living there because maybe that community is poor. Mostly it's the poor Africans who live together. And even though when they live together, they do not really stick together. So there is a difference between living together and sticking together, which we do not stick together. Once one becomes more prosperous, they will look to live, I don't know, in a white people community or in a Asian community whereby people are prosperous. They will leave that black community and go away. Why? Because we do not want to stick together. Because once one is successful, the other one will feel jealous and they will look just to jump on him and to take all his money. They do not value hard work. But for Jews, either he be a millionaire or a billionaire, he will live close to his friend or his neighbor who is actually very poor. So that is one thing. The other thing is the Torah. A Torah is really a great book, which you can call as a Bible. It's the Bible. It's really a great book. It teaches you business. You know, God has ways to teach business which you cannot beat out. And the Torah, really, they take it and they examine it and they really learn business, how to do business, and they prosper into their business. I have seen actually, I was recently in Israel and I saw how Tel Aviv has just flourished. In few years, Tel Aviv, a city which was not there, it has flourished. Now, why is it? Because they really teach their children from the Torah good business practices. And those good business practices, they start some startup. Where you see, I saw a lot of startups from Tel Aviv, which are being spread around the world. The technology that you have in iPhone, the technology that you have in many of the other phones. Or maybe you can, you know, the technology that the CIA has on how to really listen a person's conversation. All those technologies, they come from Tel Aviv. So we see they really cherish good business practices which the Torah teaches or the Bible teaches. So they have also financial education. That's what I try to do here. Teach you financial education. How we can educate ourselves to be really financially educated. Going to school is fine. That's what most Africans do. We go to school. But school does not teach us how to be financially educated. You can finish school and you are, I don't know, you have doctor degrees, but your financial literacy is zero. You are just not educated financially. But the Jews are really financially educated. They can start from zero and they bring it to millions, which we should be able to do if we are really financial education, teaching our children how to become great. Yes, we can teach our children to become great. And that's what the children do, the Jews do. They teach their children what is financial education from a young age, how to be successful from a young age. That's what I think we should be doing. Teaching our community, teaching our people how to become really successful in businesses and prospering. There is nothing wrong with having billions or millions. There is nothing wrong with having properties. The only thing that is wrong is how you use what you have. Our parents, we as parents, we should teach really our children about money. Money should be a subject which we should be teaching. And the other thing I want to speak, the last one, is actually patience. Patient. Even when you are losing, it seems like you are losing. Be patient. Because the grain, when it's planted in the earth, it does not come up at once. Many of us are not patient in business. You want to see something blossom at the same time, at the very same time. No. Business goes slowly sometimes. You have to be patient. And when you're patient, it will come up and flourish. So please, if you like the video, I'd love you to subscribe and to really share this. Like and share, subscribe.